Hello everyone, welcome on first webinar in 2014. My name is Christopher Adamus, and we're going to start from presenting you what's new in Dental System 2014, and that's the first webinar for this year, so we naturally need to show you what have we done, what is there, and I hope that you're going to really like it and enjoy it. So for the ones of you that don't know me yet, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Christopher Adamus. I'm a dental technician and 3Shape dental application specialist. I'm working for 3Shape for 2 years now almost. I'm working for its academy part, so primarily on a training part. I also worked in a milling center for quite some time, primarily on a 3Shape software. In the past. Since you're since you managed to join the webinar, it means that you are participating and subscribing for 3Shape software. So you're covered in something that we call the Lab Care package. I need to explain you what the Lab Care is, because a lot of our users are not not aware what it is and what kind of benefits they can get from being with us. So what we are offering you back for being with us is first an expert training, a live support, and unlimited upgrades, and it's all for subscribing for 3Shape software. So in the training part, we have a hands-on training, we have the webinars, just like the one that you're participating right now, and we have a big download center where you can download materials, training videos, and manuals. Our support comes in two parts. We have a technical support, the first line support that is provided by our local dealers, resellers, and we also offer technical support on our site as well. So if for any reason the first line cannot help you, they're usually contacting us directly for more help, and this is also available to you as well. We are also offering the hardware service for our scanners, so whenever something goes not according to plan and something goes wrong with your scanner, of course we're going to be happy to fix it for you. We have five service centers and support centers worldwide, so it doesn't always have to go back to factory to be fixed. Sometimes it's possible to do it on site. What we also do is, of course, we offer a number of updates and fixes of the software. There's usually unlimited upgrades throughout the year. Last year, I believe that we had 10 releases of our software, so almost once a month we're releasing an updated version with the new functions, with more functionality in them, and the software that works smoother and better each time. Of course, once a year we have one big annual release with plenty of new tools available. This time it's a version for year 2014, and this is also what I'm going to show to you today. So how's today's webinar is going to look like? First, I'm going to preview some of the new functions on 2014 software. Something that sometimes it's maybe difficult to describe. Sometimes it's going to be some of the functions. Of course, I'm going to be mentioning later on in the future webinars throughout the year. So I'm just going to mention them. There's also things that we changed and adjusted on the insides of the system to make it work faster and smoother. So I will tell you some of those. Some other functions I will show you on a live demo case a little bit afterwards. And at the end, I would like to maybe show you a little bit of a control panel and what we have added over there, if we will have time. And as per usual, a few minutes for questions and answers at the very end, if you will have any. Of course, if you have any questions, you can send them throughout the time of a whole webinar. So if there's something unclear, if you can't hear me or not, well, that's sorry, that kind of pointless. If you have a problems with video or maybe audio is not very smooth, please let me know. And of course, if you have any other questions related to dental software, please ask them. And during the webinar, you don't need to wait for the end of the webinar. And what else? Oh yeah, if you come up with some question or some problems afterwards, after the webinar, you can always send it to us at webinar.eu@3shape.com or webinar@3shape.com. We are looking at those inboxes and gather your questions. The ones of you that tried and it worked, well, I'm happy for you. The ones that that either haven't got the response on it yet, I'm working on it personally as well, so I will get back to you. But I would like to encourage you to get in touch with us and share your problems with us. We are here to help you too. So starting from the beginning, as you can see in here, I'm going to preview some of the new functions and try to explain some of the functions that we already added to 2014, and then we're going to continue from there. So one of the very important things that we've done for 2014 is we added a true 64-bit application on the software. So what will happen for you as an end user? The most important part is that it will reduce the out-of-memory errors by approximately 90%. So the ones of you that are trying to make a big cases and computers are struggling to calculate all this information, this will help you significantly to reduce this very annoying out-of-memory error. Of course, if you are running on the 64-bit Windows primarily at first, and so if you're gonna install it, I think that you will notice a significant improvement, especially in this part. I'm not saying that it's going to remove all the out-of-memory errors. Of course, there are multiple layers of the scans that we can add, and some of the computers, some older computers with less memory in them, they will struggle still. But in majority of the cases, it should give you a significant improvement, a lot less out-of-memory errors. So what has changed is that Dental System from now on will be offered in two separate installers, so in 32 and 64-bit options. So make sure that when you're gonna install the new version of the system, that you're choosing the correct one, the one that it's matching your Windows installer on the computer. Now, another thing that we've changed is a significant speed improvement on D800 and D900 scanners. So the latest, the most powerful scanners that we are offering, we have changed the software, the scan restoration, and it gave us a really good results, and I'm sure that you will also notice. If you haven't noticed already, you will notice when you're going to install 2014 that this scanner works a lot faster, that the images are appearing quicker. So our test shows that on the big arches we cut down the scanning time even by 30%. We made a very clever adjustments to aligning software. So abutments should be fitted even more precisely than it used to be. And I would already like to give you an advice on this one. When you're going to scan the abutment case, please make sure that you're going to use start from trying a single point scan abutment alignment. So choose one point on each scan to match the scan flag from the library to the scan made on the model, or on the model basically. Second tip that I would like to give you is when you're gonna place those reference points, choose flat surfaces, preferably the reference wall, so the tapered wall that you have on the scan flags, or the top surface. That should give the best results. In most of the cases, probably you won't see the difference in between that, but we optimize the software to work exactly like this. So it's going to be a tiny changes, but it should give you a lot better consistency in quality when it comes to fitting your abutments and placing them correctly. What's also good is that we made a faster response on moving back and forward in a workflow. You will also notice that workflow for ScanNet restoration has changed. It looks more like 2014, more like late 2013 versions, with a progress bar, with a workflow bar at the top of the screen, and it's easier to move back and forward. It takes a lot less time to upload the scan and redo it if it's necessary. We haven't done much changes on the calculation time. We just simply didn't have enough time to do that at the moment. Maybe we're going to look at it in the future. But I think that you will see a significant difference and improvements for those two. We couldn't do much to older scanners, to D700s, but of course the ScanNet restoration will look slightly different, and you'll benefit from the ScanNet restorations with all its parts. So the new workflow and faster response to moving back and forward, but probably there's not going to be a speed improvement on the older scanners that you are having. When I'm mentioning the 800, of course I mean the 810 as well. Okay, another part that we've added, and I'm going to get back to it later on this year when we're going to discuss a model builder separately, because of course we're going to update the current webinars that we have on the list. There are new options available in the model builder as well, so we're gonna get back to this later on. I will show you how it works. So what we added is we added a possibility of making a soft tissue for the models, and we can do them both for crown and bridge as well as for the implant models. The picture in here show, of course, the implant model. It's very easy. It gives you a suggested cuts where the soft tissue should be, and these areas are modifiable. So as you can see, there are control dots that you can make your span wider and in different angles. When it comes to manufacturing, I've heard that it's still a little bit tricky. There's still materials that needs to be tweaked to get absolutely perfect results, but we are working with companies that are also looking into that, and I hope that we will get very satisfying results really soon in real life, not only on a CAD design. Another thing is mamelon structures. I think this topic was pretty hot, and it was coming back on and off throughout the year when the mamelons will be added to the software. A lot of people was interested in that. Now they are finally here. I have a first library of the teeth for the mamelon structures. So of course they will help you to get the optimal framework support and should improve the cosmetics. The preview that you have in here is actually from the new library. I know that you might wonder if that's exactly what you are looking for and why there's only one. Well, we just started creating those. There will be more libraries coming soon. They are actually made by one of my colleagues. So we're going to also wait for your suggestions, your input into how this library should look like, because, well, we're making them for you to make your life easier. And so I would very much like to hear your opinion on those as well. What we also added is in a RealView engine, with 2D design guidelines, there is a possibility. Actually, it's still waiting for implementation, probably for next release, next batch. We'll be able to add an extra vertical and horizontal lines, and you can, as you can see, you can add multiple lines here as well. When you're going to tilt the vertical line to match the eye line, of course, the picture will adjust because it's not always taken in exact coordinates. So that should help you a lot with design, especially the big cases and for full dentures that we're going to get back to later on. When it comes to the RealView, it comes actually in two parts. We have a 2D image overlay, and we have a tooth rendering. And in 2014, we will have a color tooth rendering. So we're going to design in the colors matching the final restoration. That should also make a totally different feel of the design when it comes to design in scans from intraocular scanning, where we're gonna be able to actually see how good the colors will be matching together. Of course, it will also work perfectly with 2D image overlay with the patient's natural smile natural photo, when we will be able to actually use them also for diagnostics to show how the smile will look like, and in colors in natural colors, not only in a generic offered by the CAD software at the moment. And what I've seen is that we will have a few popular shade guides available, so these colors should match quite easily one to another. What we also did is we added a part in a control panel where the CAM software can be controlled directly from Dental System. So this is a part where we're gonna make it easier to combine the designing program with a CAD program with CAM, so the design will be sent almost directly to right after the designing to the CAM program. It works also with CAD blocks that we put it in a Dental System. I will also show you how it works in here as well. So when we place the block in, we'll place our design in the block. This position will be sent to a CAM program, and it will match it with all the settings over there. So a lot smoother workflow, getting from the scan, from the design, almost directly to the milling. And what's very important and I think very interesting is that the placing of the crown, because it's going to be transferred directly to the CAM program, it will make a lot more sense especially for multicolored blocks, where you'll be in charge of placing them in the blocks. So you will decide how much of each color will be available for the job. And because it's done on the designing stage, you will be able to match them up precisely. A small tool that we've added on the designing part is something that was requested for a long time, and it seems like it's a very easy thing to do. But finally, we've made it. I think a lot of you will be happy of this one. I know that a lot of new users will find it very good as well. It's the undo and redo buttons for margin lines and splines. So throughout the whole CAD program, whenever you have to design a spline or a margin line, if something bad happens, if you accidentally press the left mouse button and the margin line will go not according to plan, you can always undo and discard the last move. And I know that it's a small thing, but it actually made me really happy, because it also happens to me that I'm annoyed with margin line going in not exactly when I intended it to go, purely of course by my mistake, but I couldn't fix it in an easy way. Now when it comes to multi-layer restorations, we added an extra liner space in between primary and secondary restoration to make it a lot easier to fit, to help improve the marginal fit and aesthetics around the marginal area, but still keeping enough space for cement in between the layers of those. And I will also get back to multi-layer restorations on a webinar throughout the year, and I'll show you exactly how it works and how it should be done. And we also added individual insertion directions for each layer. So you're not choosing just one insertion path for a primary restoration. You can adjust it and tilt it slightly for a secondary layer if it's necessary. It will help, and it should also help you improve the cosmetics and the look of the final restorations. One of the big improvements to the Dental System, and this is actually an add-on to the system, is Implant Studio for implant planning and surgical guides. This is a very interesting program. There's a big interest around it. We started showing and demoing it not so long time ago, but we worked on it for quite some time. This enables you to take an open DICOM file, so OpenCT or CBCT scan, merge it or combine it with a surface scan, either from a lab scanner or from intraocular scanner, superimpose them, and then use this information to plan the surgery, to virtually place the implants, to prepare for this treatment. You can also add a crown. You can pre-design a crown for final restorations. This can be, of course, used in further designs. It should also help to place the implants and be aware of the angulations between the design and implant itself. What is also capable of is, of course, design a drill guide. So after that, we can, after the planning and analyzing the models, we can create very simple drill guide. It's literally a few clicks worth of work for those, and of course we will be able to generate an OpenSTL file at the end for manufacturing. So it should be very affordable solution for many labs. So we hope that it will benefit for everybody, both for dentists, for the lab technicians, and for patients primarily as well. We will have a webinar. There's already a demos. We are already demoing the software. So if you're gonna visit us on different fairs, dental shows, please look and ask for Implant Studio. It's a very easy program, and that seems that will make a lot of people really happy. I found it very easy, and we'll be happy to show you how it works later on as well. One of the last but not least options that I would like to mention to you about is improvements on the removable partial design option. What we can do right now is we can design simultaneously upper and lower partials at the same time. And this is also an option that was asked for quite some time, and now it's finally available. We added lattice mesh retention grid, which is new. We can use a virtual articulator to make sure that clasps or rest seats will not collide with the natural teeth. And what you can see on this picture in here is improved support bars that we don't need to connect two parts of the we don't have to put the support bars in between two elements on the design. It doesn't have to be a straight bars. We can actually connect them together. We can actually design more like a casting channels or sprues out of them. You can even manage to tilt them slightly so they can be curved slightly, and in the middle you can see a ball. It's actually a casting reservoir, so we can make a support bars and casting sprues pretty much at the same time. This is also a function that was requested for quite some time. We actually made a really nice tool in here. I've tried it a few times, and I think it's great, and it will make it a lot easier and to proceed with the whole workflow. And it makes perfect sense to use a support bars as a casting channels. Okay. And in here at this time, I would also like to mention that we added a small feature, also very fast and very easy way to design a customized impression trace. And also we can use either Trios scan or traditional impression to design those. It's going to be a free add-on to a premium license. So the ones that are subscribing and they are on the premium license, this is something that you're going to get this is what we're going to give to you for free. I've tried it a few times. It works really nice. It's really fast. We can actually make a few holes if we need to output some impression material. We are still working on better handles for those, so this will also be updated within the matter of I hope weeks when we're gonna get those. Of course, you can still use attachments to create handles, but I think there's an easy way to do it, and it's going to be very fast and and very simple. So that's it when it comes to the functions that I'm not going to mention today or on the second webinar in a month's time, but I will show you those, of course, throughout the year on a different webinars. Now, when it comes to a dental manager, what has changed in here? At first, I would like to show you something very interesting. This is a 3D order form. Actually, right now it works in parallel with 2D order form. It's at this stage where you can actually see that it starts to look exactly like the other parts of our software, so we have a similar layout. This part has not changed much to what you've seen in 2D order form, and so we still need to put the operator and customer and all the informations regarding the case, and that's going to be in here in information. Then we can go to indications, and this is actually when it all comes to life. We have a 3D order form where we can see a preview of upper and lower jaw. When we click on a tooth, it actually gets highlighted. Because it's a big task to make it complete, we started with the most common restorations, so from anatomy designs, crowns, copings, and abutments. When you're going to click on those, you have still the same options that you've seen, that you know from a regular order form. So you can choose if it's going to be a crown, pontic, or a veneer, what type of material we're going to use for it. We can also add a frame underneath, and if we're going to place an abutment underneath, you can see how it looks all together. I think it's a very clear preview of what is in the order form throughout both arches, and this is actually our preparation for the future, for making a 3Shape software prepared for what's gonna happen. And because we believe that the touchscreens will be more and more common, it's going to be very easy to set it up just by touching your by the finger and marking everything as it goes. Probably the designing software is too complicated to be done by touchscreen right now, but who knows? We'll see what the future will bring. I think it's a really nice option. It looks fantastic, and as I mentioned, if you're still gonna feel not comfortable, or simply the indication is not added, that the indication that you need to do is not added on the supported list for the preview, you can still go back to the order form. So it's still good old 2D order form, known for many years, available in here. And in here, all the options, just like it was in 2013, they are working absolutely fine. And since we are here, I would like to show you that we have two new icons in on the right hand side. So we have an option for appliance. In here we can either do a splint or a customized impression tray, the one that I just showed you a few seconds ago. So you can choose them from here. When it comes to splints, this is a module that is also going to be available for the dental system. So we added actually a piece of ortho software, a very light version, purely for designing splints. So you can predefine them in here. To do that, of course, you need to have the valid subscription on your dongle, and this will also enable a ortho control panel inside actually the dental system control panel. It's going to be available over here. And of course, we have an icon for Implant Studio, so you can predefine your order form in here, and choose it in here, and go through the process directly from dental system. When it comes to the other parts, I think we're gonna go through them gradually, as I will show you different types of the restorations. But today we have just an hour, so it won't be simply possible. It simply won't be possible to show you everything within this one time, and definitely it wouldn't be considered as any sort of training, but more like a presentation or actually a teaser, if I would like to say about everything. So Since I showed you generally what has changed, let me show you more stuff and get actually to the live demo, to the actual training part live. So what I will do is I will simply import a Trios case into the dental system, and I'll show you how the workflow has changed and what has changed in a dental designer in a whole process of the designing. Okay, so what we're going to start with, of course, it does look all the same as it used to be in here, but to make it more interesting for you and to actually make it more sense, what I will do is I will design a crown in the material that was already, that it's possible to be added to the dental software. We have quite a few materials that are comparable with blocks that can be Milden blocks. As you can see, we added also logos for them, so it's easier to distinguish which material you're going to be using. So we have from Ivoclar, from Vita, from 3M, we have different materials. Unfortunately, I had a problem with my DME file, so I couldn't upload all of them and show you what are the materials that are available. But there is 3M, there's Ivoclar and Vita materials. There's quite of a big list. I hope that I will be able to upload my DME next time and show you all of the ones that are possible. Or maybe if we will have a few minutes and my colleague will remind me this, I will try to import it again at the end of the presentation, and if it's going to be unsuccessful, I will show you what type of materials we have available in here. Okay, so this is a standard case, so it's chosen to be made in a model builder, and we have anatomy to design. In this case, it's going to be, as an example, Vita Trilux crown. Oh. That's the tricky part, since we have materials that are very specific, and we're gonna make this whole process tied up with a CAM program that will recognize the position and the block. We need to add a color to our block. So what we did is we also added colors for specific materials, for specific blocks, and that are available in this material. So you won't be able to choose the color that this material is not manufactured in. So yeah, let's take this one for instance, and click OK. Okay, I'm not gonna save this conversion this time, but I have my case already. Now when I'm going to start preparing it, it opens a dental designer. So what I'm going to do first is I'm not going to go through a model builder as it used to be and prepare a model for manufacturing. I'm going to clean this can first. So the first part of the model builder, the one that was responsible for cleaning and preparing the model for the design process, is actually integrated now in Dental Designer. So what you will see in here, that we changed slightly the layout in here. So we have still the progress bar as it already was in 2013 in the top side, just like probably some of you also know from Trios. We have a slightly different view of the steps for each part of the workflow, marked, I think, very clear on the left-hand side. And yeah, a few more things that I would like to point you at is, number one, in here on the right-hand side, fourth icon from the top is this student's hat, and it's called expert mode. So right now, Dental System comes in two modes. There's a basic and expert mode. That should make easier, especially for the new users, to get used to the Dental System, to simplify it. If you are focused on productivity, on doing big volumes, you can switch off the expert mode, go fast and easy way. If you have your Dental System set up correctly, almost fly through the design and make a very fast and very nice restoration within a matter of minutes. Then, what else? Well, let me get you through it. So first, what I would do is I would clean this can. This one was actually cleaned already, so I'm gonna keep everything for my designing purpose, and I'm gonna click next. As you can see, the next button right now is not on the top of the screen, it's on the bottom, so we unified it throughout all of the applications. This next button will be placed in here, so you don't have to look up, down where it's gonna be placed. It's gonna be in here at all times. Same when it comes to the antagonist. I think it also looks good, so it'll save. In here, you will notice that actually our occlusal plane was also optimized. Now it detects the position of the model a lot better, so there's very rarely that any changes should be necessary at this stage. I'll click next, and we have a possibility, as you can see on here on the left hand side, to sculpt on the upper or lower jaw. If you don't need to do anything, if you don't need to change anything on the models, I think it's safer to just stay away from these options. If it's necessary, of course, it's there for you. You also have the adjust occlusion option that was there before, so I'm gonna just go further. So if you need to remove, let's say, an artifact or fill the hole from the air bubble on the model, then you can do it by sculpting on the surface. Now I will select the margin line. I can see that it needs some changes, some adaptation. I can of course switch off the color, and I will show you the changes that we've done to detection of the margin line. As you can see right now, we have something that it's called, the tool that we call snap to edge. So actually, margin line is looking for a sharp edge for margin to be snapped. Usually, margin line, I hope still that it will be very easy to define. This scan, this intraoral scan, unfortunately, was done without the retraction cord, so it's a lot more difficult to actually find the margin. But I think this is going to be close enough. I will verify it here. If you will not like this tool, you can of course tick it off. There's a tick box on the left hand side, and you can go back to traditional free-form fast changes of the margin line. So now we're going to move not only from one step of the workflow to another with the use of the next button, but also move in steps in the top bar, also with the use of next button. So there's no need to press OK and then next. It will only going to be next, and through. Okay, so our margin was we cut our model. This is actually the prep itself that we're going to be working on. We have a possibility of making a final changes to our margin. So the previous one was prepared for Model Builder. This one is actually for the designing purpose. And in here, what you will also notice that we don't have apply button anymore. We have a preview. I think it's adjustments that we're making that it's a little bit more self-explanatory. What this button do? It previews what's going to happen, what the change will be. And as you can see in here, since we have a margin, we have also undo button, so I can redo the changes that I've done on the margin line. As you can see, I'm pretty confident making a mistake like this. I can undo it if it will happen. It's just a matter of a second change. Since I'm working on the expert mode, I have also still visible the die interface mode. So if you like to change some settings during the design, if you need to modify it for some reason, of course it's going to be visible. If you're going to go back to the basic mode, it's not going to be visible. So if you have your system set up correctly, if you have your your dentist specific settings predefined in the control panel, then you can quite easily skip this stage. You can predefine it once and for all, or for specific dentist, specific patients in the control panel, or for specific materials, and just forget about it. Don't need to go over it just to click next if you're not changing anything in here. Another small thing that will make it easier and faster to go through the designing process. Now, going further, we're getting to the Smile Composer, and in here, what we have done is we improved significantly our auto placement, our auto crown. Right now, it will find the position better, quicker. We've made a lot of smart changes and put new algorithms, so you don't need to define the contact points. Software is finding them absolutely fine, and placing the crown very good from the beginning. So of course, if there are any changes needed, you can still do some adjustments, but the auto crown function works a lot better, a lot smoother. So I would also encourage you to try it and see how it works. If I'm going to click the next button, there is something that will appear that you might have noticed that it's not in the Smile Composer anymore. So when we set up the auto crown, it asked us what's the distance to neighbors and to antagonist we would like to have right now, right after this adjustment. Software gave us this possibility to define. We can predefine it once and not show this picture evermore. If you always need to have it in 1 millimeter distance, or to antagonist, or maybe a little bit tighter in the contact points, you can predefine it and forget about it. This also can be preset up depending on the dentist settings. Okay, since we are on our crown design, what I would like to show you is the virtual articulator. What we have done is apart from adding Ivoclar articulator that actually right now works in the software, it's not only skin, we can actually do a smart articulation on it, and as you can see, it works absolutely fine. We also added to it incisal plate. So right now the articulator, the Ivoclar articulator works with incisal plate, so we can do the articulation with taking under consideration the incisal plate. Unfortunately, at the moment, it's only the flat one. We don't have a customized ones yet, but probably in the future there will be more of them available in here. So let me do a quick articulation. Okay, I'm not sure if there's any changes. No designs needed adaptation. So as you can see, the auto crown seems like it's been designed in a way that it's not colliding with the opposing. So it's done pretty much ideal. Now, as you can see, the material that's been set up, which was our Vita Trilax in this case, well, it requires a minimal thickness of a 1 millimeter, and my crown violates it by 170 microns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinforce minimal thickness to make sure that it will be strong enough. And since I've set it up that it's going to be manufactured in a block, block is of course tied up to the material, and software already placed my crown within the block. What I can do is, of course, I can see it within the model. So choose according to the neighboring teeth what. Sorry. I think I went too close to the edge with my adjustments of the position, so I can choose according to to the neighboring teeth how the layering of the crown should look alike, to make it look perfect. Of course, this position will be transferred to the CAM program, so it should be respected. I'm not sure if all the programs will be able to manufacture the crown, because effectively changing the position of the crown within the block, we're changing the axes for milling. So you need to be careful and make sure that your machine will be capable of manufacturing in this particular position. But what we can do also in here is, apart from placing it in a height and depth in the block, of course, and tilting it, we can also move the sprue and find the best position to it. Also, if you feel that the sprue is too thin, you can make it wider to ensure that it's going to be milled without breaking off. What also happens is software is clever enough that it will find the suitable block, the smallest suitable block for the crown. So in this case, it had to be the bigger one, because we have a molar. So 12 block TR12 was too small. It fitted directly into block 14, as you can see. Yeah, it's not possible either, because the sprue cannot be milled or the crown is too big. So that's why the block is red. It's simply not fitting on one side or the other. So block 14 needs to be used in this case. Okay, when we have this part ready, I can click next, and now the design will be saved and sent, ready for manufacturing. So right now I can close the job, and it will be ready for next step, which will be model builder and building a model for manufacturing. We changed slightly the workflow in here for a very good reason. When we have a crown that we are designing that actually needs to be made in a way that it's pushing the gum a little bit on the sides. As you can see in here in this area, I decided that my crown needs to fit really close, really precisely, and the model manufactured before and designed before creating a model before designing a crown might result in that the crown will be slightly bigger. We'll try to push the gingiva, which will be made out of hard material at the moment, so it will not fit on the model, which will also look a little bit strange. That's why we had to do it the other way around. Of course, if you want to just create a model and send it further for a designing process, it's also possible. You can go through the first two steps that I showed you, so through cleaning and defining the margin, close the program, click right mouse button, and go through the model builder. So you can still use, let's say, the old workflow if you preferred it, or if there's a clear reason to do it that way. So moving on, I think I hope that everything was clear at the moment. So what I would like to show you, just going there for a few moments, would be to show you what has changed in the control panel. So what we did what you should notice is we added a part that is called design options. In here we have 4 new options, so we can skip the prepare step, we can show interfaces step, and tick on the expert mode. So if we're gonna tick it off in here, our dental system will start as from the basic mode, and then of course you can change it to an expert later on, of course. Showing the interfaces step, this is something that I also showed you. It's not necessary and mandatory, we believe, to see the interface step when you add the cement spacer and drill compensation. If you have the correct settings, this is not mandatory. And we have a restore hidden dialogues button. Press this button if you want all the dialogues to not show again option to be selected to be shown again. So if you clicked once to not show the dialogue and you would like to see it again because you need to make some changes, of course you can click on this button and see those as well. What I wanted to show you as well is in here we have as you can see an orthodontics control panel for appliances. Yeah, in a blanks, as you can see, there was a Trilux block added because this is the material that I wanted to show you too. And in materials, we have a new part that it's called Advanced Connector Validation. In here, when we take this box, we can actually pre-select in a customized way, so in a more sophisticated way that it used to be, the minimal thickness for the connectors for between different teeth. What's the minimal recommended thickness for certain material between certain teeth? We know that molars usually require, because there's big forces applied on them during the joint, the biting and eating. They're actually a lot bigger teeth. They require bigger cross section throughout the connectors. So right now you can predefine it in a customized way and add it to the software. So it's not going to be one generic minimal thickness for the specific material. Add it over here. You can ensure that it's that there gradually goes stronger as more distal way you will go. Okay, what I showed you earlier on, and I still remember, was to show you the materials for practice lab. And let me see. Oh yeah, so in here we have a big list of the blocks that are already available for 3Shape software. So you can see that there's actually quite a few of them. There's different specifics, different minimal thicknesses, different colors for each one of them. We worked with manufacturers of these materials, and we got all the values from them. So we worked together in a big cooperation to get it all done precisely. And this is why we also added we could add a logo on the dental system in here as well. So if you work with blocks and you're planning to mill in a blocks, I think that will be a good hint, good help for you in here. Okay, I believe that that's going to be pretty much it from me for today. I would like to encourage you to join the next webinar in around month time, and that's going to be in February. For a second part where we're going to do a lot more demos. It's going to be pretty much a full hour worth of demoing on the new features over there. So please join us and share your thoughts with us. Right now, I would like to give you a short survey. If you could just answer on a short question for me, and I will take a quick look on the questions that you've been sending throughout the webinar. I can see that there is a couple, so I'll be back to you in a few seconds. Oh no, not this one. I'm gonna give you this one, and give me a few seconds to read your web questions. Okay. So here's the results from today's survey. Have you already upgraded your system to 2013? I can see that it's 50-50. So I hope that the ones that are already updated their systems, that you're happy with it, and I hope I made some of the things a little bit clearer and showed you what are the possibilities in here. And of course, we will continue for this. I will also encourage you to read through what's new document. That's very important. There's always a list of the new functions available over there, and you will see it too. I can see when it comes to the questions and that you asked me today. You asked if the module and I believe that it was asked about Implant Studio will be available in Germany this or next year. Well, when it comes to Implant Studio, we're planning to officially release it around March. We're still trying to get all the regulatory paperwork done, but well, when it comes to the Germany, I think it's I'm having a little bit better news than the rest of the world, because we have we're closing the regulatories for EU, so it will be first available from European Union. So Germany will be included in this as well. That will also depend on your local reseller, if it's going to be available through them as well. But yes, it's getting really close over there. There's a really big interest in it, and we have a really high hopes for it, because it's a really nice tool, and it's really simple and enjoy to work on it. And I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the questions for today. Of course, thank you very much for participating. I would like to see you all and more for on the next webinar. And yeah, thank you very much for participating, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.